My name is Peter Ahago. I'm a father of three, two of whom are living with sickle cell disease. I also work for Children's Sickle Cell Foundation as a programs officer. What I would want to say during this World Sickle Cell Day is to encourage the general public about sickle cell disease and also to inform them about what sickle cell disease is. Sickle cell disease is a genetic blood disorder which affects red blood cells. A child can be born with a sickle cell only when both parents are carriers. It means mother has to be a carrier of a sickle cell gene and a father has to be a carrier of a sickle cell gene. That is when a child may be born with sickle cell disease. There is this notion out there that people think it's a curse or it's something that is supposed to be connected to some satanic forces. It is not. This is just something that is it's common with us. There is no Satan in it. A child, when he or she inherits the genes from both parents, then he or she will be born with disease. Sickle cell disease is manageable. Currently, the management of sickle cell disease is not very complicated as some people say it. One has to be checked up. Once you are tested of the disease and turns positive, you have to go through a series of management programs. A child living with sickle cell disease should take a balanced diet. A child or a person living with sickle cell disease must always avoid extreme temperatures. It means when weather is too cold, you have to keep warm. When it's too hot, you just have to moderate and regulate the temperature so that you don't dehydrate. A child or a person living with sickle cell disease has to take a lot of fluid. Preferably, we encourage people to take water. Water helps a lot in flow of blood. It increases the volume of blood, and that is the plasma part of the blood. We know blood has got four components: red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, and of course the plasma. So when you take a lot of water, it increases the volume of plasma, and the plasma will also help the flow of blood with the vein without any difficulties. So we are also advocating for genetic counseling. Before people get married, this is the only way we can control sickle cell disease in our country. People need to be counseled. They know their genetic status, their sickle cell status. Once you know you are a carrier, and before you get to marry someone else who is also a carrier, you will have to think twice. And even if you can go ahead and get married, because currently we don't have a policy which prohibits you from getting married to someone who is a carrier. Because once you are adult and you love each other, we can only advise you, if possible, please stop this engagement. But in the event you go ahead and gotten married to someone who is a trait, it means at some point probably you will have children with sickle cell disease. So it means that you will have gotten into that marriage or into that relationship with an informed decision, not just ignorantly. And again, I've seen people also who are determined. If you have to enter into such arrangement, then I would advise you not to have children. But again, in Africa, people are just convinced that you must have children. So again, we are saying we are not God. God is the giver of life. But again, it's also important that you heed to the advice that I give you. Sickle cell disease is currently there is a cure for it, despite of the cost. We encourage those who are able, who can afford to go for bone marrow transplant. I've seen a number of people taking their children for bone marrow transplant, which is the only current cure for the disease. It's quite expensive. And again, at some point, it's 50-50 to some people. There are those who are going through it successfully. There are those who are backfiring. So it's upon you to choose. But the best way out is proper management of the disease. You have to come up with a management of program. A child has to take the daily medication. A child has to take fluids. A child has to exercise. A child has to rest. A child has to rehydrate adequately. A child has to be kept stress-free. You can manage stress as long as you can manage stress. It's very important that stress is supposed to be managed, because when you stress these children, sometimes they get into crisis. And again, we advise that once you have a child with sickle cell is not a death sentence. They live to the fullest. We have people in their 50s today. We have people, professionals, they are retired teachers. They are those who are already in their professions and they are living with sickle cell. So when you have sickle cell, it doesn't limit you from becoming who you want to be. You can become whatever you want to be in life. Sickle cell disease is not a death sentence. You can live your life to the fullest.